During my dad's birthday meal, my sister glanced at my son and told everyone, "He doesn't need a piece. Save it for the real family." Her husband's mom nudged my arm and whispered, "Don't make a scene. It's only cake." I was the one who covered the restaurant bill, the cake, and even half the presents. I lifted my son, grabbed our gift bag, and said, "Have fun paying for everything else." Later that night, I cut off every account and payment they depended on. By 7:03 the next morning, my brother sent a screenshot that made me sit straight up. Okay, buckle up, because I'm about to tell you a story that still makes my blood run cold. A story about family, betrayal, and the agonizing choice I had to make between my own blood and the son I chose to love. I thought family was supposed to be about unconditional love, but I learned the hard way that sometimes family can be the cruelest strangers. It all blew up at my dad's 70th birthday, when a piece of cake revealed a darkness I never saw coming. A darkness that would force me to choose between my son's heart and my own blood. It was Dad's 70th, and the candles on the cake flickered, casting a warm glow on my 8-year-old son, Tommy. He was practically vibrating with excitement in his chair at Romano's, this Italian restaurant I'd shelled out for. Then my sister, Sarah, grabbed the silver knife. She started cutting generous slices, passing them around the table of 12. But when she got to Tommy, she just skipped him completely. "He doesn't need a slice," she sneered, her voice dripping with disdain. "Save it for real family." Her husband, Craig, actually burst out laughing. My mom, Patricia, leaned over, tapping my arm. "Bruce, let it go. It's just cake." "Just cake?" My chest tightened. I'd paid for this entire celebration, the $50 cake, half the expensive gifts. I stood up slowly, a protective instinct surging through me, and scooped Tommy into my arms. "Enjoy paying for the rest," I told them, my voice low and steady. Then I walked out, my $300 gift bag still clutched in my hand. The drive home felt like swimming through molasses. Tommy sat quietly in his booster seat, staring out the window at the passing suburban houses. Finally, his small voice broke the silence, cutting through me like a knife. "Daddy, why was Aunt Sarah mean to me?" I gripped the steering wheel so hard my knuckles turned white. "Sometimes, buddy," I said, choosing my words carefully, "adults say hurtful things when they forget what's truly important." Then he asked, and this is what shattered me, "Did I do something wrong?" "No, buddy," I choked out. "You did absolutely nothing wrong." We pulled into our modest 3-bedroom house. The walls were covered with his artwork, photos from our camping trips, and the framed adoption certificate we'd gotten 2 years ago. This was our sanctuary. Tommy had come into my life at 6 after his biological parents died in a tragic car accident. There were no other family members to take him in. I was 32, single, building my software consulting business. But this quiet, resilient little boy changed everything. The adoption was lengthy, expensive, worth every sleepless night. My family had seemed supportive at first. Sarah even threw us a small party. But gradually, the subtle comments started. Was I ready? Wouldn't he be better off with a traditional family? I pushed those memories down. Right now, I had a present crisis. After tucking Tommy into bed, I opened my laptop in the kitchen. The familiar glow illuminated spreadsheets I knew by heart, but rarely examined this closely. For 4 years, I'd been financially supporting my entire extended family. Sarah and Craig's $2,400 mortgage payment went out automatically every month. Craig had been unemployed for 8 months, claiming the construction industry was tough, while really just playing video games in their basement. Mom's medical expenses were $800 monthly, thanks to insurance gaps. Dad's retirement pension fell $1,500 short. I quietly supplemented it. My younger brother, Danny's, student loan consolidation was $450 a month, debt from a degree he never finished. My sister Lisa's daycare for her twin daughters was $1,200. Their total? $6,350 a month. Over $76,000 of my income, just to keep them afloat. Tommy wandered into the kitchen, rubbing his sleepy eyes in his dinosaur pajamas. "Daddy, I can't sleep. I keep thinking about the cake." I closed the laptop and knelt. "Tommy, do you know what makes a family?" He shook his head, climbing onto my lap. "A family is people who choose to love each other every single day. They support each other, celebrate, and protect each other. Biology doesn't make a family. Love does." He finally smiled. So, we're a real family. We're the most real family I know. Then he asked, and it gutted me. Will they stop loving me now? Baby, I whispered, holding him tight. Anyone who stops loving you because of the color of your skin or where you came from never really loved you in the first place. And that's their loss, not yours. After settling him, I returned to my laptop with a newfound clarity. My fingers moved with surgical precision. I logged into my banking portal and systematically canceled every automatic payment, every co-signed loan, every financial lifeline. Sarah's mortgage autopay? Canceled. Mom's medical secondary coverage? Removed. Dad's retirement supplement? Terminated. Danny's student loan co-signature? Revocation notice submitted. Lisa's daycare payment? Stopped. Each click felt like cutting a rope that had been slowly strangling my own financial independence. I updated emergency contacts, changed beneficiaries, removed family members from accounts. By 2 a.m., the entire financial web was dismantled. Tomorrow, they would begin to understand exactly how much their casual cruelty had cost them. The next morning, an unusual calm settled over me. Tommy ate his cereal, chattering about a science project, seemingly recovered. Kids, they have an amazing ability to bounce back. My phone buzzed at 7:15. A text from Danny. Bro, got a weird notice about my student loan. Call me. I silenced it. By 8:30, driving Tommy to school, my phone had buzzed 6 more times. Sarah called twice, Mom once, and Lisa sent 3 frantic messages about daycare payment being declined. Have a great day, buddy, I told Tommy at school. Remember, you're loved, you're important, and you belong everywhere you choose to be. He grinned, bouncing off. At my home office, my phone kept buzzing. Voice messages piled up. Sarah, Bruce, this is ridiculous. A payment failure for our mortgage. It's probably just a bank error. Mom, honey, I'm worried about my doctor appointment. Insurance called about coverage changes. Please call. Danny, emergency. Student loan company saying something about default. Help. Lisa, Bruce. Little Angel's daycare called. The twins have to stay home today. What's going on? I turned my phone completely off. Numbers and code provided a welcome distraction from the family drama. Around noon, Tommy called from school, using the office phone. His teacher, Mrs. Anderson, had noticed he was quiet. Daddy, Jackson asked me to come to his birthday party this weekend. Can I go? Jackson Martinez, Tommy's closest friend, came from a family who treated Tommy with genuine warmth. Of course you can go. His mom said I could stay for a sleepover after if you're okay with it. The contrast hit me immediately. Jackson's family welcomed Tommy unconditionally. My own biological family questioned his place at our table. At 3 o'clock, Tommy burst through the front door. Daddy, guess what? We learned about families in social studies today. Mrs. Anderson said families come in all different shapes and sizes, and what matters is love. He pulled out a crayon drawing. 2 stick figures, a house, a big sun. I drew our family. Just the 2 of us, holding hands. This is perfect, I told him, meaning every word. My phone remained off, but the doorbell provided no escape. At 7:03 p.m., persistent ringing. Through the peephole, my brother Matt, 28, a mechanic, usually the most reasonable one. His face was pale. I opened the door. Matt. Bruce, we need to talk. I have something you need to see. His serious tone sent a chill down my spine. Come in, I said. Tommy looked up. Hi, Uncle Matt. Hey there, buddy, Matt replied, his smile forced. In the living room, Matt sat heavily and held up his phone. Bruce, I'm about to show you something that's going to hurt, but you need to know what's been happening behind your back. The screenshot displayed a group chat, Frank's birthday planning. My stomach dropped. I wasn't in it. How long has this existed? About a month, since Mom suggested coordinating. He scrolled to the beginning. The messages were daggers. Sarah, can't believe Bruce thinks that kid belongs at family events. Craig, Tommy's not even the same race. So obvious he's not really ours. Lisa, why does Bruce get to play daddy with a stranger while we struggle financially? Danny, that adoption money could have helped all of us instead of going to some random kid. Mom, boys, we should be grateful Bruce helps us financially. Sarah, Mom, he only adopted to look good at work. Diversity points for his business. Craig, bet. He claims big tax benefits, too. Smart business move. Dad, kid seems nice enough, but family is family and blood matters. Sarah, Let's make sure Tommy knows his place at the party. Nausea overwhelmed me. These people had smiled at Tommy, given him presents, pretended to care, while discussing him like an unwanted burden. Daddy, what's diversity points? I spun around. Tommy was in the doorway. His innocent question shattered something inside my chest. Matt's face crumpled. I'm sorry, Bruce. I tried to defend you both in the chat, but they kicked me out. How long has this been going on? The chat? Just this month. But the attitudes, probably since the adoption was finalized. Matt showed me more. They'd coordinated to exclude Tommy, debated convincing me adoption was too expensive, even whether I should change Tommy's status to temporary guardianship to save money. There's more, Matt said, showing me another chat. Operation Get Bruce Back. Messages from this morning, after they found out I'd cut them off. Sarah, he's being dramatic. He'll cave when he realizes we actually need this money. Craig, let's all apologize for the cake thing and promise to include the kid more. Dad, Bruce has always been soft-hearted. A little guilt will bring him around. Lisa, what if we bring up how much the family means to him? Danny, I'll tell him I can't afford groceries without the loan help. Mom, maybe I should mention my medication costs. The manipulation strategies were a military campaign. Each had an emotional appeal to pressure me back into financial submission. Tommy approached cautiously. Uncle Matt, why are you and Daddy sad? Matt knelt. Sometimes adults say and do things that aren't very nice, but that doesn't mean anything is wrong with you. Okay, you're awesome exactly the way you are. I know. Tommy replied with surprising confidence. Daddy tells me that every day. After Matt left, I sat Tommy down for an age-appropriate explanation. Some people in our family said some unkind things about us. I began. They don't understand that love is what makes a family. Are they mad because I'm not white like you? His directness took my breath away. 8 years old, and he'd processed the racial dynamics adults preferred to ignore. Some people have trouble accepting differences, I admitted. But that's their problem to solve, not ours. Will you still love me? Even if they don't, Tommy, I will love you every single day for the rest of my life. No matter what anyone else thinks or says, you are my son. Period. That night, as I tucked him in, Tommy asked one final question, revealing wisdom beyond his years. Daddy, are we going to be okay without them? We're going to be better than okay, I promised. We're going to be happy. The following morning brought an escalation I hadn't anticipated. My doorbell rang at 7:03 a.m., jarring me awake. Through the window, Matt paced on the porch, phone pressed to his ear, agitation radiating off him. Tommy was still asleep. I opened the door quietly. Bruce, you need to see this immediately, Matt whispered. The family group chat exploded overnight. I poured coffee while Matt pulled up screenshots. His hands were shaking as he scrolled through message after message revealing their true feelings about Tommy and our relationship. They think I'm still blocked, Matt explained. But Lisa added me back accidentally. I've been watching them plan their next moves. The screenshots revealed conversations dating back almost 6 months. My family hadn't just been tolerating Tommy. They'd been actively strategizing to undermine our bond. Sarah, Bruce is getting too attached to that kid. It's not healthy. Craig, we should find ways to remind him the kid isn't really his. Mom, maybe if we emphasize Tommy's differences more, Bruce will realize this isn't working. Dad, the boy needs to understand his place in this family. Lisa, what if Tommy decides he wants to find his real family when he gets older? Danny, Bruce is wasting money on that kid that could help all of us. But the most devastating messages had been sent just hours ago, after they realized I'd cut off their financial lifelines. Sarah, time for nuclear option. I'm calling Child Protective Services. Craig, what would you report? Sarah, single man, no family support, adopted kid showing behavioral issues. Lisa, that's too far. Sarah, he's choosing that stranger over his real family. Someone needs to reality check him. Danny, maybe a CPS visit would wake him up. Dad, now hold on. We don't want to hurt the boy. Mom, Sarah, please don't involve outside agencies. Sarah, I already called. Told them I was concerned about my nephew's welfare. The coffee mug slipped from my hands, shattering against the kitchen floor. Matt looked up, genuine fear in his eyes. Bruce. She actually called CPS. Yesterday evening. I have the screenshot of her confirming it. My blood turned to ice water. Sarah had weaponized the child welfare system as retaliation. She was willing to traumatize Tommy and potentially destroy our family just to maintain her financial convenience. What exactly did she tell them? I managed to ask. Matt showed me Sarah's detailed message in the family chat. Told CPS worker that Bruce seems overwhelmed by single parenting. Tommy has been acting out at family events, and we're concerned about stability in the household. Mentioned that Bruce recently cut off all family relationships abruptly, which suggests possible mental health crisis. Each word felt like a physical blow. Sarah had crafted a narrative to make me appear unstable, Tommy neglected. She'd turned my protective decision into evidence of mental health problems. There's more, Matt continued, reluctantly. She told them you've been isolating Tommy from family, spending excessive money on adoption-related expenses, and showing signs of attachment disorder. She Googled psychological terms to sound credible. Said you're overly protective and unable to maintain healthy family relationships. Tommy's footsteps interrupted us. He appeared in the doorway in his Superman pajamas. Daddy, why is there glass on the floor? I dropped my coffee mug, buddy. Stay back while I clean it up. As I swept, my mind raced. Social workers would investigate. Interview Tommy. Examine our home. Scrutinize everything. The irony was devastating. My family's rejection had forced me to protect him, and now they were using that protection as evidence I was unfit. Uncle Matt, are you staying for breakfast? Tommy asked hopefully. Matt glanced at me. I nodded. I needed time. I'd love to, buddy. What are we having? Daddy makes the best pancakes on Saturdays. While I mixed batter, Matt shared more screenshots. Their manipulation had evolved into something genuinely sinister. Craig, CPS investigation will show Bruce can't handle this. Sarah, exactly. Then Tommy gets placed with a proper family. Lisa, you mean like us? Sarah, we could provide a stable two-parent household. Danny, plus, financial support from Bruce would continue if Tommy lived with Sarah. The final piece of their plan clicked into place. Sarah wasn't just trying to punish me. She was trying to gain custody of Tommy to ensure the money kept flowing. In her twisted logic, if he lived with her, I'd be obligated to pay child support, and she'd get adoption subsidies. Daddy, you look worried, Tommy observed. Just thinking about some grown-up problems, buddy. Nothing you need to worry about. Internally, I was calculating my next moves. Contact my attorney. Document all evidence. Prepare for CPS. Bruce, there's something else. Matt leaned in. Sarah convinced your parents to go along with this plan. They're meeting with a family court attorney Monday morning. For what? Grandparent visitation rights. They want legal access to Tommy, even if you cut contact. Their attorney apparently told them that if they can prove you're alienating Tommy from family without just cause, they might be able to get court-ordered visitation. The scope of their coordinated attack was breathtaking. While I'd been focused on protecting Tommy from emotional harm, my family had been plotting legal maneuvers to force continued access to both him and my financial resources. How do you know all this? Lisa feels guilty about the whole thing. She's been forwarding me screenshots because she thinks it's going too far. After Matt left, I faced the reality. My decision to protect Tommy had triggered a full-scale war. But as I watched Tommy happily building a fort out of couch cushions, I felt something unexpected: clarity. My family's escalation had revealed their true priorities. They valued financial benefit and control over a child's emotional safety. They were willing to traumatize an 8-year-old boy to maintain access to my income. For the first time, I felt completely justified. The coming legal battles would be challenging, but I had truth, documentation, and resources on my side. Most importantly, I had Tommy's trust and love. Whatever happened next, we would face it together as the real family we'd built through choice, commitment, and unconditional love. The next 5 days unfolded like a carefully choreographed disaster movie. Each family member's financial crisis triggered a domino effect that revealed the true depth of their dependence. Monday morning brought Sarah's panic. Her mortgage company had a strict grace period, and her automatic payment failure had been noticed. My phone buzzed at 8:15. I let it go to voicemail. Bruce, this is ridiculous. The bank is threatening late fees over some computer glitch with our mortgage. I know you're mad about the party, but this affects Craig and me losing our house. Call me back immediately. The entitlement in her voice was staggering. She genuinely believed her cruelty toward Tommy should have no financial consequences for her lifestyle. Tuesday escalated. Mom's medical insurance flagged the coverage gap. Her endocrinologist appointment for diabetes management was postponed indefinitely. Mom appeared at my front door at 10:30 a.m., unannounced, carrying a plate of chocolate chip cookies. Cookies with walnuts. She'd forgotten Tommy was severely allergic to tree nuts. "Honey, we need to talk," she said, inviting herself in. "This insurance situation is getting serious." Tommy was at school, thankfully. "Mom, you can't just show up here expecting everything to go back to normal. But I don't understand why you're punishing me for Sarah's behavior. I tried to keep the peace at the restaurant. By telling me to let it go when my son was being humiliated, I thought bitterly." She set the cookies on the counter, oblivious to the allergen risk. "Tommy knows we love him. One incident shouldn't destroy our whole family. Mom, have you read the group chat messages?" Her face flushed. "Those were just private frustrations. Everyone says things they don't mean. You participated in discussions about Tommy not being real family for months." "I was trying to keep everyone together," she insisted. "Sometimes that means going along with things you don't fully agree with." Her justification revealed the core problem. My mother had chosen family harmony over my son's dignity, repeatedly. Now she expected me to prioritize her medical convenience over Tommy's emotional safety. Wednesday brought Danny's crisis to full intensity. His student loan servicer received my revocation of co-signature status and immediately triggered default procedures. Without my backing, his credit score made him ineligible for consolidation. He arrived at my office building during lunch, somehow having discovered my business address. Jennifer, my assistant, buzzed me. "Mr. Harrison, there's a young man here claiming to be your brother. He says it's a financial emergency." Through the window, I saw Danny pacing frantically. "Send him in, but I have a conference call in 20 minutes. Danny burst through my office door. "Bruce, you have to help me. They're threatening wage garnishment, and I can't afford to lose this job." "What job?" Danny had been unemployed for 3 months. His face reddened. "Okay, I just started at a call center, but it's only temporary." "When did you start?" "Yesterday," he admitted. "But they'll garnish my wages before I even get established." The timeline was revealing. He'd only sought employment after losing my support. "Danny, I'm not co-signing any more loans. You're 26. It's time to handle your own finances. But this will ruin my credit forever." "Your credit was already ruined. That's why you needed a co-signer." He slumped into the chair, looking younger than his years. "Bruce, I know we screwed up at the party, but you can't destroy my whole future over one stupid comment. This isn't about one comment. It's about months of planning to exclude and humiliate my son. I never said anything directly to Tommy. You participated in group chats where family members discussed treating him like he doesn't belong." Danny stared at his hands. "Sarah gets everyone worked up. You know how she is. And you chose to go along with it instead of defending a child." Thursday brought Lisa's breakdown. Little Angel's daycare had a strict policy, 48 hours notice for late payments. When my automatic payment failed, they contacted her. Lisa called me, sobbing, at 6:30 a.m., waking both Tommy and me. "Bruce, please, I'm begging you. The twins can't miss any more daycare. I'll lose my job at the medical office." Her distress felt different from Sarah's demands or Danny's panic. Lisa had always been the most reasonable. "Lisa, what exactly did you say about Tommy in those group chats?" "I was scared," she whispered. "Sarah said if I didn't support her, you might cut my daycare payments out of spite. I was protecting my girls. I thought if I went along with the chat, you'd never see it anyway." I didn't realize Matt was screenshotting everything. Her logic revealed the complex web of financial intimidation my family had created. "Lisa, I need to ask you something directly. Do you believe Tommy belongs in our family?" A long pause. "Yes," she finally said. "I've always thought he was lucky to have you. But I was afraid to say that in the group chat." "Why?" "Because Sarah gets vengeful when people disagree with her, and I couldn't risk losing daycare support for my daughters." Friday brought the most disturbing escalation. Dad suffered stress-induced heart palpitations. Mom called me from the ER at Piedmont Hospital, her voice shaking. "Bruce, your father collapsed at work. The cardiologist says it's stress-related." Despite everything, hearing about Dad's health scare triggered my protective instincts. He was 70. I didn't want drama to harm his health. I arranged for Tommy to stay with Jackson's family and drove to the hospital. Dad looked pale, tired, hooked to monitors. Mom sat beside him, looking older than I'd ever seen her. "Son," Dad said weakly, "I think we need to talk." "How are you feeling?" like an old fool who let things get out of hand. Mom squeezed his hand. Frank, don't stress yourself. Patricia, I need to say this. He looked at me. I failed Tommy as a grandfather. I failed you as a father. And I nearly destroyed this family by going along with Sarah's nonsense. His admission caught me completely off guard. Dad, who had been quiet throughout. Dad, you need to focus on getting better. No, I need to fix this before it's too late. That little boy didn't deserve what happened at my birthday party. And you didn't deserve to have your generosity thrown back in your face. Mom started crying. We just wanted everyone to get along. But sometimes keeping peace means letting wrong things happen. Patricia, we enabled Sarah's bad behavior for years because it was easier than confronting her, Dad said firmly. Now Bruce is protecting his son the way we should have protected him. Dr. Chun, Dad's cardiologist, interrupted us. Mr. Harrison's cardiac function is normal. However, his blood pressure is dangerously elevated due to stress. If he doesn't reduce the sources of stress, he's at significant risk for stroke or heart attack. Mom gripped my arm. Bruce, please don't let family problems kill your father. Her words hit me like a physical blow. I'd been so focused on protecting Tommy, I hadn't considered the health implications for my elderly parents. But driving home, I realized Dad's stress wasn't caused by my boundaries. It was caused by Sarah's escalating retaliation and the family's financial panic. The real question was whether my family would choose Tommy's well-being and honest relationships over Sarah's drama and financial convenience. Dad's health scare had created an opportunity for genuine change, but only if everyone was willing to abandon the manipulation and false victim narratives. That night, as Tommy and I discussed his fun day with Jackson's family, I felt a renewed sense of clarity. My son's emotional safety and our authentic family bond were worth more than preserving relationships built on financial obligation and conditional acceptance. The coming weeks would reveal whether any family members were capable of choosing love over leverage. Saturday morning brought an unexpected perspective shift. While Tommy played in the backyard, building a fort, I got a call that reminded me exactly who I was beyond my role as the family's ATM. Bruce, it's Kevin. My business partner's voice crackled. I've got news that's going to blow your mind. Kevin and I founded CyberGuard Solutions 3 years ago. What's going on? Remember that proposal to Apex Technologies? The $2.3 million over 18 months? They accepted. Full contract signed this morning. Bruce, we're officially playing in the big leagues now. I sat heavily on my back porch steps, watching Tommy. My family had no idea about the success I'd been building while they focused on their petty dramas. For years, they'd assumed I made decent programmer money, treating my support as charity I could barely afford, not recognizing it was a tiny fraction of my actual income. There's more, Kevin continued. Pacific Coast Ventures wants to meet next week about expanding to Seattle. They're talking acquisition, $15 million over 5 years. $15 million. The number felt surreal. Kevin, I need to tell you something. I explained everything. Kevin listened, occasionally making sounds of disgust. Bruce, I've met your family. I always wondered why you seemed to downplay your success around them. What do you mean? Remember last year's client appreciation dinner? Your sister kept asking what you really do because she couldn't believe cybersecurity was that profitable. And your brother-in-law suggested you were probably exaggerating your client contracts. I'd forgotten those awkward moments. They never asked for details about my work, I realized aloud. Because they didn't want to acknowledge you might be more successful than they assumed, Kevin said bluntly. It was easier to see you as the family's financial safety net than to recognize you as an independent success. After hanging up, I reviewed our financials. CyberGuard Solutions had generated $2.3 million in revenue last year. My personal income, $400,000. The money I'd been sending monthly was less than 2% of my annual income. Their dependence wasn't about my inability to afford support. It was their refusal to develop independence. Tommy appeared, covered in dirt. Daddy, come see my castle. It has a drawbridge and everything. As I admired his creativity, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. Mr. Harrison, this is Cheryl from Child Protective Services. We received a report regarding your son, Tommy. I'd like to schedule a home visit. The CPS investigation was moving forward. But now, I felt something different than panic. I felt prepared. Daddy, who was that? Just someone who wants to visit our house this week to see how happy we are together. Will they like my fort? They're going to love your fort. Sunday brought a surprise that illustrated the contrast between my chosen family and biological relatives. Jackson's parents, Carlos and Maria Martinez, invited us to their barbecue. I experienced something I'd forgotten existed: unconditional acceptance. "Bruce, Tommy talks about you constantly," Maria said. "Jackson adores him. He's a special kid," I replied. "You're a wonderful father," Carlos added. "Tommy is confident, kind, and secure. That doesn't happen by accident." Their validation felt more meaningful than years of grudging tolerance from my biological family. The Martinez family had embraced Tommy immediately. "We'd love to have Tommy stay here anytime you need support," Maria offered. "Children should feel welcomed everywhere they go." As Tommy helped Jackson's grandmother in her garden, laughing, I realized he was experiencing genuine extended family love with people who shared no biological connection. Monday morning brought the CPS home visit. Cheryl Morrison arrived at 10 a.m., a middle-aged African-American woman with kind eyes and a professional demeanor. "Mr. Harrison, thank you for accommodating. I want to assure you we take all reports seriously, but we also recognize family disputes can sometimes motivate false claims." Her directness surprised me. "You're aware this might be retaliation?" In my 15 years, I've learned to recognize certain patterns. A sudden report following financial disputes often indicates non-genuine concerns. Tommy greeted Cheryl politely, offering to show her his room. As she interviewed him privately, I braced myself. 20 minutes later, Cheryl returned. "Mr. Harrison, Tommy is one of the most well-adjusted children I've encountered. He speaks confidently about your relationship, feels secure, and clearly trusts you completely." What happens next? I'll be filing a report indicating no credible concerns. However, I do want to warn you that the family member who made this report suggested she might pursue grandparent visitation rights. Is that possible? Georgia law allows such petitions, but they must prove visitation serves the child's best interests and that you're unreasonably denying access. Based on what I've seen, I doubt any court would find in their favor. After Cheryl left, I felt a profound sense of validation. The professional whose job was protecting children had immediately recognized the stability and love in our home. That afternoon, I made a decision that felt terrifying and liberating. I called my attorney, Patricia Wells. "Patricia, I want to explore relocating to Seattle. What would that mean for any potential custody challenges?" Relocation with proper notice and legitimate business reasons is generally protected, especially when you're the sole legal parent. However, if your parents file for grandparent visitation, leaving the state could complicate things. What if I can prove they've been actively harmful to my son's emotional well-being? Documentation is everything. Do you have evidence? I thought of Matt's screenshots, the false CPS report, the systematic exclusion. Yes, extensive documentation. That evening, as Tommy and I worked on his volcano project, I felt something I hadn't experienced in years: complete freedom to prioritize our happiness without guilt or obligation to people who'd never truly accepted us. My family's financial panic was revealing their true priorities. My business success was opening doors. For the first time, I felt powerful, not defensive. Tommy looked up. "Daddy, are we really going to move to Seattle? Would you like to? Will Jackson's family visit us there?" I'm sure they would. Then yes. Adventures sound fun. His excitement confirmed it. Tommy's happiness didn't depend on relationships with people who questioned his worth. It depended on feeling loved, secure, and free to grow. The week had shown me my family's financial desperation was matched by their emotional poverty. My carefully built life with Tommy was the kind of wealth that mattered. Tuesday morning brought an unexpected development that changed everything. My attorney, Patricia Wells, called. "Bruce, I've been researching your family's legal threats, and I think it's time for us to go on the offensive instead of remaining defensive." "What do you mean?" "Georgia has strong laws against filing false reports with Child Protective Services. Your sister's documented lies to CPS constitute a misdemeanor offense. Additionally, if we can prove coordination between family members to harass you through legal systems, we can pursue restraining orders." The possibility of my family facing legal consequences had never occurred to me. "What would you recommend?" "Schedule a family meeting with all parties, their legal counsel if they choose, and myself as witness. Present them with documented evidence of their harassment, false reporting, and manipulation attempts. Give them one opportunity to resolve this civilly before we pursue legal remedies. The strategy felt risky, but necessary. Patricia, I want to include one additional element. I'm prepared to offer financial settlement for any family member willing to sign a no-contact agreement regarding Tommy. Explain. Pay off Sarah's mortgage for permanent no contact. Cover Mom's medical for 6 months for supervised visitation. Resolve Danny's student loans if he completes addiction counseling and maintains steady employment. You're offering significant money for them to leave you alone. I'm offering them financial security in exchange for Tommy's emotional security. If they choose money over relationship, at least the choice will be explicit. Wednesday afternoon, I sent formal invitations through Patricia's office for a family meeting. The message was brief, professional. Responses revealed desperation. Dad called. Son, we'll be there. Your mother and I want to fix this. Lisa texted. I hope we can work things out. I miss Tommy. Danny sent a long email apologizing. Sarah's response came through her attorney. My clients will attend, but reserve all legal rights regarding grandparent visitation and Mr. Harrison's pattern of financial manipulation. Her threat confirmed she was still planning legal action. Thursday evening, I sat Tommy down for our most important conversation. Buddy, tomorrow, we're meeting with our family to talk about how we want them to be part of our lives. Will Aunt Sarah apologize for being mean about the cake? I don't know. But whatever happens, I want you to remember that you get to choose who you spend time with. Even family. Especially family. Just because someone is related to us doesn't mean they get to treat us badly. Tommy considered this. What if some of them want to be nice now? Then we'll see if they can prove they've really changed by how they act, not just what they say. Friday afternoon, 2 p.m., we gathered in Patricia Wells's conference room. The setting was intentionally formal. Dad and Mom arrived, looking fragile. Dad sat straighter when Tommy entered, holding my hand. Lisa came alone, smiling tentatively at Tommy, who waved back. Danny appeared nervous, but cleaned up. Sarah and Craig arrived with their attorney, Jennifer Chun, a sharp-faced woman who immediately took notes. Sarah's expression was defiant. Matt attended as a witness, making several family members nervous. Patricia began. She presented a comprehensive timeline of harassment, screenshots of group chats, records of false CPS reporting, coordinated manipulation attempts, documentation of legal threats. Ladies and gentlemen, what we have here is a clear pattern of harassment directed at Mr. Harrison and his son in retaliation for his setting financial boundaries. Under Georgia law, several of these actions constitute criminal misdemeanors. Sarah's attorney whispered urgently. Sarah remained stubborn. Furthermore, Patricia continued, filing false reports with Child Protective Services carries penalties, including fines up to $1,000 and potential jail time. We have documented evidence that Mrs. Craig fabricated concerns about child welfare, solely to pressure Mr. Harrison into resuming financial support. That's not true. Sarah burst out. I was genuinely worried about Tommy's stability. Patricia calmly read from printed CPS interview transcripts. Mrs. Craig admitted to the investigating social worker that her primary concern was Mr. Harrison's sudden change in family relationships, and that she believed financial stress might be affecting his parenting. The room went silent. Sarah had essentially confessed her CPS report was financially motivated. What do you want from us? Dad asked quietly. I stood up, holding Tommy's hand. I want acknowledgement that Tommy is my son and deserves the same respect as any other family member. I want apologies for the pain you've caused him. And I want guarantees that this harassment will stop immediately. And if we provide those things? Mom asked hopefully. Then we rebuild relationships slowly, with clear boundaries and supervised contact until trust is restored. Sarah laughed bitterly. So we have to earn the right to see our own family? Sarah, I said firmly, you forfeited your automatic access to my son when you publicly humiliated him and then tried to use Child Protective Services as a weapon against us. He's not your real son anyway. The conference room erupted. Dad shouted, Sarah, that's enough. Mom cried. Lisa covered her face. Danny stared at his sister in horror. Tommy looked up at me calmly. Daddy, she's still being mean. Yes, buddy. Some people don't know how to stop being mean, even when it hurts them. Patricia regained control. Mrs. Craig, your statement has been recorded. Mr. Harrison, please present your final offer. I prepared 3 options. For Sarah and Craig, I will pay off your entire mortgage balance of $47,000 in exchange for a legal no-contact agreement. You will have no further communication with Tommy or myself, and you will cease all legal actions." Sarah's eyes widened. A mortgage payoff. Freedom from debt, permanently removed from our lives. For Mom and Dad, I will cover all medical expenses and provide supplemental retirement income for 6 months while you attend family counseling. After successful counseling, you'll have supervised visitation with Tommy once monthly. For Danny, I will resolve your student loan debt of $18,000 if you complete addiction counseling and maintain steady employment for 6 months. Your relationship with Tommy resumes only after demonstrating consistent personal responsibility. For Lisa, I will cover daycare expenses for 3 months while you decide whether you can accept Tommy as a full family member. If yes, our relationship continues normally. If no, we in contact permanently but amicably. The room was silent. Each offer was significant financial relief in exchange for either behavioral change or permanent separation. What about grandparent rights? Sarah's attorney asked. Any family member who accepts financial settlement waives all future legal claims, including grandparent visitation, Patricia replied. However, family members who choose ongoing relationship will have reasonable access through proper channels. Dad spoke first. "Bruce, I accept counseling and supervised visitation. I want to learn how to be the grandfather Tommy deserves." Mom nodded, tearfully. "I've been a coward about confronting bad behavior. I want to change that." Lisa raised her hand. "I don't need the daycare money. Tommy is my nephew. Period. I should have defended him from the beginning." Danny cleared his throat. "I'll take the counseling deal. I need help getting my life together anyway." All eyes turned to Sarah and Craig. They huddled with their attorney. Then Sarah stood up, angrily. "This is blackmail. You're trying to buy your way out of family obligations." "Sarah," I said calmly, "I'm offering you financial freedom in exchange for leaving us alone. That's exactly what you've always wanted. What I want is for you to stop pretending that adopted kid is the same as real family." Craig tugged his wife's sleeve. "Sarah, maybe we should take the deal." "Absolutely not. We'll see you in family court for grandparent rights." She stormed out, Craig reluctantly following. Patricia smiled grimly. "Mr. Harrison, I believe we just made our harassment case significantly stronger." The remaining family members spent an additional hour discussing terms. Dad and Mom seemed genuinely committed. Lisa's acceptance of Tommy felt authentic. Danny's willingness to address his problems suggested potential. As we prepared to leave, Tommy approached his grandfather. "Grandpa Frank, will you really learn how to be nice to me?" Dad knelt, his eyes filling with tears. "Tommy, I promise to spend every day trying to be the grandfather you deserve. I'm sorry I failed you before." "It's okay. Daddy says people can change if they really want to." Watching this, I felt the first genuine hope I'd experienced. Some relationships could be salvaged. Others would need to end. But for the first time in weeks, Tommy and I were moving forward from a position of strength. 3 months later, our life had transformed. Legal battles were resolved. Relationships rebuilt on healthier foundations. Tommy was thriving. The biggest change was geographical. Kevin and I accepted the acquisition offer from Pacific Coast Ventures. CyberGuard Solutions was now their premier cybersecurity division, with offices in Atlanta and Seattle. I chose Seattle. A fresh start, 3,000 miles away from family drama. Our new home in Bellevue overlooked Lake Washington, with mountain views that took Tommy's breath away every morning. He'd adapted to his new school with remarkable resilience. "Daddy, Jackson's family is coming to visit next month," Tommy announced after school. The Martinez family had become our chosen extended family. "That's wonderful, buddy. We'll show them Pike Place Market and the Space Needle and my new fort." Tommy's enthusiasm had returned completely. The confidence my family had shaken was restored through positive relationships and experiences that affirmed his value. The legal resolution with my family unfolded as Patricia predicted. Sarah and Craig's attempt at grandparent visitation was dismissed. The documented group chat messages, Sarah's recorded statements, it all convinced the court that contact was not in Tommy's best interests. Sarah ultimately accepted the mortgage payoff, but only after facing potential criminal charges. She and Craig moved to Florida, severing contact with our entire family. Their departure actually improved family dynamics for everyone else. Dad embraced family counseling with surprising enthusiasm. Our therapist helped him understand how his passive enabling of Sarah's behavior had contributed to toxic patterns. He now video called Tommy every Sunday evening, sharing stories, asking genuine questions. Grandpa Frank taught me how to play chess online. Tommy told me proudly. He says I'm getting really good at thinking ahead. Mom's transformation was equally remarkable. Therapy helped her address her lifelong pattern of avoiding conflict. She started volunteering at an adoption support group, helping other grandparents embrace adopted grandchildren. "Bruce, I want you to know how proud I am of the father you've become," she told me during our last call. "Tommy is lucky to have someone who fought for him the way you did." Danny exceeded expectations. He completed counseling, maintained steady employment, and was even dating someone from group therapy. His relationship with Tommy evolved into something genuinely warm, with Uncle Danny sending care packages. "Tommy, your Uncle Danny wants to visit this summer, if that's okay?" I asked. "Can he teach me how to code like you and him do?" "I'm sure he'd love to." Lisa became our strongest family ally. She accepted our move and planned a summer visit with her twins. Her genuine remorse about the group chat led to honest conversations about family loyalty versus moral courage. But the most meaningful changes were in Tommy's daily life. His new friend group included children from diverse family structures. For the first time, Tommy felt completely normal. His teacher called me with feedback that filled my heart with pride. "Mr. Harrison, Tommy shows remarkable emotional intelligence for his age. He's naturally inclusive with new students and seems to have a special talent for helping children who feel different or left out." The qualities my biological family saw as deficits, Tommy's difference and adopted status, had become sources of strength and empathy. My business success continued expanding. The Seattle cybersecurity market was booming. The acquisition provided financial security that made my family's previous dependence seem trivial. More importantly, professional success gave me the confidence to prioritize Tommy's well-being over family expectations without guilt. Protecting my son from emotional harm was not selfish. It was essential parenting. Kevin became like an uncle to Tommy, regularly joining us for hiking. His own children, 7 and 9, embraced Tommy as an instant cousin. "Uncle Kevin, look what I found," Tommy shouted from ahead on the trail, holding up a piece of granite with quartz crystals. "That's a keeper, buddy. We'll add it to your rock collection." Watching Tommy explore nature with enthusiasm, surrounded by adults who celebrated his curiosity, reminded me daily that we'd made the right choice. The most healing moment came 2 weeks ago. Tommy and I visited the Seattle Center for an adoption awareness event. Tommy volunteered to speak. He stood at the podium in front of hundreds, an 8-year-old speaking with wisdom that amazed the audience. "Some people think adopted kids aren't as good as regular kids, but that's not true. My daddy chose me special, and I choose him back every day. That makes us even more family than people who just got born to each other." The standing ovation brought tears to my eyes. Tommy's confident smile filled me with profound gratitude for the journey that brought us to this moment of strength and clarity. That evening, on our deck overlooking Lake Washington, watching the sunset, Tommy asked me a question that revealed how much he'd grown. "Daddy, do you think Aunt Sarah will ever learn to be nicer?" "I don't know, buddy. Some people choose to hold on to anger instead of learning to love better. I hope she learns someday, but I'm glad we don't have to wait for her to be happy." His mature perspective on forgiveness without enabling bad behavior showed me that our difficult experience had taught him valuable lessons about boundaries, self-worth, and the difference between unconditional love and unconditional tolerance. As I tucked him into bed that night, Tommy offered his own life lesson that perfectly captured what we'd learned together. "Daddy, I think family is like a garden. You have to plant good seeds, water them with love, and pull out the weeds that try to hurt the flowers." His metaphor was profound. We'd pulled out the toxic relationships, nurtured the connections that helped us flourish, and planted ourselves in new soil where we could bloom fully. Looking back on that devastating birthday lunch 6 months ago, I realized Sarah's cruelty had actually been a gift in disguise. Her public rejection of Tommy had forced me to choose between my son's emotional safety and family tradition. Choosing Tommy had led us to this life of authentic relationships, professional fulfillment, and genuine happiness. The pain of losing some family was real, but the joy of keeping the ones worth preserving while building new chosen family connections had been transformative. Tommy was thriving. The questions about belonging that had haunted him were replaced by certainty about his value. I'd learned that protecting the people we love sometimes requires disappointing the people we're related to. That lesson made me a better father and a stronger person. Our story wasn't about blood versus choice or biological versus adopted. It was about the courage to demand respect for the people we love and the wisdom to build relationships on foundations of mutual care rather than obligation or convenience. Every morning when Tommy rushes to the kitchen, excited about his day, every evening when he shares stories about friends who accept him completely, and every weekend when he proudly talks about my dad, Bruce, to new people we meet, I feel grateful for that painful birthday lunch that forced us to choose love over loyalty. We chose well. Have you ever had to choose between protecting someone you love and keeping peace with family members? Family relationships can be incredibly complex, especially when children are involved and different people have different ideas about what family means. Tommy and I discovered that real family is built on love, respect, and choice, rather than just biology or tradition. What do you think makes a family truly strong? Have you ever had to set difficult boundaries with relatives to protect yourself or someone you care about? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And remember, sometimes the most loving thing we can do is refuse to accept treatment that hurts the people we're responsible for protecting. If this story touched your heart or reminded you of your own experiences with family challenges, please give it a thumbs up and share it with others who might need to hear Tommy's message about chosen family and unconditional love. Don't forget to subscribe for more stories about courage, resilience, and the power of standing up for what's right. Thank you for joining Tommy and me on this journey from heartbreak to healing. Remember that you deserve relationships that celebrate who you are rather than questioning whether you belong. Keep choosing love, keep protecting the vulnerable, and keep building the family that your heart knows you deserve.